Every era of jiu-jitsu had its own mindset. The samurai fought for survival, the Gracies fought for honor, the 2000s fighters battled for dominance, and today, we're chasing perfection. I'm Yusuf with XMartial, and in this video, we're rolling through time. Stay till the end, because as we go deeper, you'll see how some techniques and submissions from the past are being rediscovered and reshaping modern jiu-jitsu all over again. This is the era when Judo, the root of modern Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, was born. Samurai trained Jiu-Jitsu, a system for survival when armor and swords failed. It wasn't about points, it was about staying alive. By the late 1800s, Jigoro Kano transformed those battlefield techniques into Judo, focusing on leverage, balance, and control instead of brute strength. He turned combat into a martial science, efficient, disciplined, and teachable. Mitsuyo Maeda, popularly known as Count Combat, one of the Kodokan's top judoka, traveled the world giving challenge matches and demonstrations. He integrated elements from judo, classical jujutsu, and Western wrestling, proving the art's effectiveness across continents. In 1917, after a public demonstration in Belém, Brazil, Maeda began teaching 15-year-old Carlos Gracie, planting the seed for what would become Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The dominant moves of this era were simple but brutal: arm bars, cross-collar chokes, hip throws, and pins. By the 1920s, judo had taken root in Brazil, and the Gracie family would soon give it an entirely new identity. Carlos Gracie, inspired by Mitsuyo Maeda's teachings, began teaching in Rio de Janeiro sometime in the late 1920s, officially establishing the first Gracie Academy around 1925. When his younger brother Hélio Gracie joined him, his smaller frame forced him to adapt techniques to rely on leverage, timing, and energy efficiency instead of raw power. That adaptation became known as Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, the foundation of modern Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The Gracies tested their art through vale tudo, anything-goes fights that proved technique could overcome strength. Hélio's matches often focused on lapel chokes, arm bars, and positional control, using patience and endurance to survive and exhaust larger opponents. In October 1951, at Maracanã Stadium in Rio, Hélio faced Masahiko Kimura, one of Japan's greatest judoka. Kimura applied a Gyaku Ude Garami, reverse arm lock, breaking Hélio's arm twice before Carlos threw in the towel, and the move became known worldwide as the Kimura. Beyond the Gracies, Oswaldo Fada, a student of Luiz França, taught jiu-jitsu to working-class Brazilians and emphasized leg locks, techniques the Gracies avoided at the time. This Gracie-Fada rivalry quietly broadened jiu-jitsu's technical base and planted the seeds for the leg lock revolution decades later. Within the Gracie family itself, another split began: Hélio's focus on patience and self-defense versus Carlsen's aggressive, wrestling-based style. That divide between survival and sport became the backbone of modern jiu-jitsu. The dominant moves of this era were precise and unforgiving: lapel chokes, arm bars, cross-collar chokes, and the early leg locks from the Fada lineage. By the 1980s, jiu-jitsu began shifting from street challenge fights to organized competition. Gyms started testing skill through points, timing, and precision, and the sport of Brazilian jiu-jitsu was born. Hall's Gracie, often called the bridge between old and new, reshaped the art by blending wrestling and sambo into BJJ and promoting open guard play and athletic training. After his passing in 1982, Carlos Gracie Jr. carried that competitive spirit forward, founding Gracie Barra in 1986 and pushing the sport toward a structured future. In the 1990s, the Brazilian Confederation of Jiu-Jitsu began organizing official tournaments, leading to the first World Championship in 1996. A few years later, Carlos Jr. created the International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation, turning local rivalries into a global sport. At the same time, Romero Jacare Cavalcanti founded Alliance Jiu-Jitsu, sparking one of the biggest team rivalries in BJJ history, Alliance versus Gracie Barra. Competition now drove innovation. The guard transformed from defense to offense. Close guard led to triangles and arm bars, while De La Riva and spider guards opened up endless sweep and transition options. Around the same time, a heated rivalry erupted: BJJ versus Luta Livre. Luta Livre fighters used wrestling and leg locks, forcing BJJ to refine grip fighting, pressure passing, and positional control. The dominant moves of this era were smooth and strategic, and honestly, half of those still win matches today. Name one submission from this era that you still see people hitting now. Drop it in the comments. I'll pin the best answer. By the early 1990s, Jiu Jitsu was ready to leave the academy and test itself in the cage. In 1993, Royce Gracie entered UFC 1 and shocked the world, submitting bigger, stronger opponents using pure technique. As mixed martial arts exploded, fighters began training no-gi to adapt to the pace of real fights, and BJJ evolved for the cage. In 1998, Sheikh Tanoun founded the Abu Dhabi Combat Club, ADCC, the first professional stage for submission grappling. Then in 2003, Eddie Bravo, a brown belt at the time, faced Royce Gracie, who was chasing his fourth consecutive ADCC title. Eddie caught him in a triangle choke, an upset heard around the world, and introduced the rubber guard and twister, and the beginnings of what would become 10th Planet Jiu Jitsu. This era fused BJJ with wrestling and MMA, turning no-gi into a laboratory for control, creativity, and chaos. The dominant moves of this era were practical and fight-ready: rear naked choke, armbar, triangle, and guillotine. By the way, every era had its warriors. Samurai had armor. The Gracies had gis. Modern warriors, we've got XMartial rash guards. Built for performance, designed for expression, every piece feels like armor for the modern grappler. From bold prints to pro-grade durability, this is gear that rolls as hard as you do. And right now, tons of offers are live, so don't sleep on it. Hit the link in the bio and grab your set before they're gone. By the 2010s, Jiu Jitsu had evolved from martial art to science. John Danaher led a new wave of systematic thinkers, mapping every position, grip, and transition like a physics equation. No-gi phenoms like Gordon Ryan and Craig Jones redefined precision, while Mikey Musumeci, Tainan Dalpra, and the Rodolo brothers brought next-level creativity. And Andre Galvao's Atos team set the standard for ADCC dominance. The leg lock revolution exploded, turning once taboo attacks into essential weapons. Some say it evolved jiu-jitsu, others swear it ruined it. What do you think? Drop it in the comments. Heel hooks, inside sankaku, and complex entanglements became the new meta, and jiu-jitsu would never look the same. What's crazy is many of these modern moves were already around decades ago. Oswaldo Fada's students were attacking legs long before it was cool. Turns out, jiu-jitsu doesn't just evolve, it loops back sharper every time. And that loop led to today's biggest divide: IBJJF versus ADCC. Berimbolos, lapel guards, and sweeps dominate one side, while leg locks, back takes, and heel hooks reign on the other. The best grapplers today, they master both worlds. The dominant moves of this era were precise and systemized: heel hooks, back triangles, buggy chokes, and leg entanglements. Today, jiu-jitsu is everywhere. From small-town dojos to packed arenas, it's no longer underground, it's global, professional, and growing faster than ever. Modern athletes train full-time, travel the world, and earn a living from the sport. Athletes like Mika Galvao and Ana Rodriguez are redefining excellence, showing that youth and precision can rule the mats. The women's divisions are exploding. Youth competitors are sharper than ever, and online instruction, even AI-driven training apps, has made elite-level knowledge accessible to anyone with a mat and Wi-Fi. The line between gi and no gi is fading. Top competitors cross over seamlessly. adapting systems instead of styles. And as rule sets evolve, Jiu Jitsu keeps refining itself. The dominant mindset of this era isn't about belts or medals, it's about constant progress, getting 1% better every day. Hit like if you laughed, learned, or got triggered. I'll take any of it. Subscribe for more stories of grit, growth, and martial chaos. And when you're done here, check out this video. P.S. It's even crazier than what you just saw. See you there.